Here we go, presentation time, folks. I feel like I need some music. Okay, so here we are. Here's your free live training in the 10x your visibility and confidence group. Get rave reviews from your adoring fans, aka the client testimonial. And what we're talking about today is social proof. This is you letting people know that other people think you're great. Obviously, that they've used your services, you've made a difference, you've solved a problem, you've transformed something that they needed changing, and letting other people know that it's okay to work with you, or even, let's hope, highly recommending working with you. So I'm going to go through social proof, and then we're going to talk about specifically the client testimonial. We'll talk about the what, the woo, the what, the woo, the what, the woo. We're not going to talk about the what, the woo. We're going to talk about the what and the who, and the when and the where and the how, and the why. And as always, I'm going to take you through my slide presentation. So without further ado, what is social proof anyway? If you're anything like me, you've heard this term bandied about all over social media, and of course it's marketing speak. And what is social proof? Well, it's coined by, I don't know if it's the same fella who wrote The Art of Persuasion, or I should have stuck that quote on I should have said who the quote comes from at the bottom. I'll find out for you. So it's a psychological phenomenon where people assume the actions of others in an attempt to reflect correct behavior for a given situation. That, by the way, is the worst way to start a presentation. I can't believe I did that to you. A really dry quote, which I haven't attributed to anybody, to explain something that's actually really straightforward. Please don't ever start a presentation like this. What was I thinking? Crazy. Okay, so it's basically, we look to others to see how to behave. We look to others to see if this is socially acceptable. And, oh, no, my phone's gone off. You know, we look to, that's what recommendations are basically, aren't they? They're like, oh, well, if they use it, then it must be all right. Right, here we go. And I've got some people here with me. I've got Lisa Marie. Hey, Lisa Marie, who's already asked for the PDF. Gold star, you can get that. Okay, so that's the rather dry version of what social proof is. And there are 6 different types of social proof, which I will run through. I found this fascinating because, like I say, I heard this social proof for a long time without really knowing what it was. I was like, why don't they just call it a client testimonial if that's what it is? But anyway, you can get different kinds of social proof. We'll run through them super quick. Expert social proof, which is when an expert in your industry recommends your products or services. How lovely is that? Celebrity social proof is obviously when a celebrity endorses you. When they might endorse your products or your services, and that makes everybody think, well, if the Kardashians use that, then I must use it too. User social proof is what we're talking about today. That's your client. They've used your service, they've used your products, and as a result of that, they're telling everybody how fantastic you are. The wisdom of the crowd, again, this is about having followers. Nowadays in social media, it's obviously about having, you know, 1.2 million views on YouTube or 86,000 Instagram friends. And a friend, the wisdom of your friends is people who know people who've used your product or service. So you might get a client coming to you because, you know, their best friend used your services and thought you were wonderful. And then we have got, what's the last one? Certification. Yeah, so this is like the stamp of approval from an authority figure in your industry, e.g. the blue check mark on Twitter. That's Twitter saying, yes, you're a good person. We highly recommend you to everybody. So that's the different kinds of social proof. But for today only, we are focusing on the client testimonial. And for me, this is part of something called positioning. So positioning yourself in your industry on social media as the go-to expert. And I think this is the most powerful way to position yourself as the go-to expert, by having lots and lots of social proof, which is why the client testimonial is so, so important. Now, how often do you ask for a testimonial? Let me know. Let me know in the comments how often you go and ask your clients for a testimonial. Second question, where do you keep your testimonials? Do you keep them all in one place? Do you have them scattered here, there and everywhere? Because they come in many different forms, right? And I have to say, as a result of this particular training I'm running, I did go and gather all my testimonials, which I thought I had in one place. But now I put them all, there's a folder and there's a Trello board with all my testimonials on. And I still think I've forgotten some. Also, some of them are on video. So anyway, so the client testimonial. When do you ask for yours and where do you keep them? We're going to go through today. I like to call them rave reviews because obviously we all know I'm an actor. So we get rave reviews. We don't necessarily get audience testimonials. So we're going to talk about rave reviews from your raving fans. We're quickly going to look at why you need them, how to get them, when to ask for them, where to put them, who to ask, and what to include. And the what to include is the golden questions to ask when you're asking for a testimonial. And that's actually what my PDF is about. Remember, you can drop the word PDF anytime you wish, and I will get that PDF to you, even though it's not finished yet. Okay, why do you need a client testimonial? Look at these stats, my friend. 92% of customers read online reviews before buying. Can I just tell you a story? My husband is autistic and he has many, many wonderful traits, one of which is doing lots of research. And it doesn't matter if it's a restaurant, a hotel, a holiday, buying a washing machine. He will go to the nth degree and he reads reviews religiously on anything, to the point of he'll say to me, right, there's these two restaurants we could go to. One of them has got 5 stars, but only 10 reviews. The other one has got 4 stars, but 800 reviews. Which one should we go for? I'm going to go with the 800 reviews. Anyway, so yes, so I know a lot about reviews, and he is one of those people who will read reviews religiously. Eve is here. Yes, hello, hello. Yes, PDF is yours on its way. 88% of customers say that reviews influence their online purchasing decisions. Yeah, I think that doesn't surprise me at all. And some people, and we're talking about my autistic husband here, will take action only after reading a positive review. Yeah, I think that's true as well. The thing you've got to ask yourself here is, do testimonials work for you? As in, do you go and read reviews? Are you influenced when you see that somebody has got a lot of testimonials or good testimonials? Would you go and buy a service, or let's say sign up with a business coach without seeing any reviews? Think about that. If the answer is, I probably wouldn't sign up without seeing at least a few testimonials, then there you go. That's why you need testimonials too, my friend. It's really, really powerful stuff. Social proof, powerful positioning. Okay, how to get them? Right, this might seem a little bit obvious, but ask. I asked you at the beginning, how often do you ask for testimonials? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. I actually ask for testimonials a lot these days. I do it as a matter of course, particularly after I was running this Nail Your Intro, which was a paid offer. And I was doing the free calls about it last week, if you remember. And always, when I send the recording of the session, I say, Hope you found it useful. If you did, could you drop me a few lines? Because then other people might find it useful too. Easy as that. So the way to get a testimonial is quite simply to ask for it. Ask for it often, frequently, whenever you can, whenever you've delivered something, even if it's a lead magnet. I always ask people, hey, let me know what you think. Hit reply. You know, was this useful to you? What did you get out of it? When I'm doing training like this, I'll ask people, you know, what's your takeaway? What's the feedback? Was it useful? Did you like it? You know, was there anything specific that you thought, yeah, that's brilliant? So get into the rhythm and the habit of asking. Hey, Diane. Ooh, you don't have to drop out. Stick with us. So get into the habit of asking. Now, I know some people will not feel great about that. How do you feel about asking for testimonials? Let me know in the comments. How did it feel to say to someone, what did you think of my service? What did it feel like working with me? How did you like my X, Y, Z? Because for me, I've now incorporated it as a sort of really natural part of my business. And actually, as an actor, we're always asking for feedback. I mean, constantly. Even if you go to an audition and you don't get to, you know, don't get the role, it's perfectly okay to go back and say, can you give me any feedback? I mean, obviously, loads of times you don't get any feedback. And often you get the feedback, you know, you just weren't the right fit. Sometimes you get the feedback, as my friend once did, auditioning for a Western show, that she was too short. And she thought that was really unfair, because she said, there's a lot of things I can do, but I cannot change my height. And I think I've had that, I've had that before, where I've been chosen because I looked like some children and I was playing their mother. So there wasn't really much skill involved in that. And then I think I also didn't get a role because the leading man had already been cast, and he was like, you know, 7'2" or something. And it just wouldn't have worked visually because I'm 5'0" nothing. Anyway, I digress, talking about auditions. So how do you feel when you ask for a testimonial? I hope you feel brilliant. I hope you feel really happy that someone's going to tell you how wonderful you are. And flip it, I've written here. What I mean by that is, how do you feel if someone comes to you and says, hey, could you leave me a review? Could you let me know what you thought about my dog grooming service? Or could you just drop a few lines onto Google to let people know what you thought of my business? Restaurants do it all the time, don't they? Some restaurants, even I've been to, and they give you a little slip going, yes, write us a review on TripAdvisor, would you? So, I mean, I might get a bit annoyed at that, but think about it. If someone comes to you and says, would you mind writing me a couple of lines, or telling me, giving me some stars, or submitting a review? How do you feel about that? I don't feel anything. Brilliant, I hope. Yeah. Okay. A bit scary. Oh, Caroline's here. Hey, Caroline. A bit scary to ask for a testimonial. Now, I'd really like to know, what do you think they're going to say? Is that what it is? Are you worried about what they might say, that they might say they didn't like something? Because to me, if that happens, that's your opportunity to go back and put it right and say, oh, okay, oh, I'm really glad you told me. Let's see if we can fix that. So I get that it's scary, but it's also super, 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 super useful. And I hope, Caroline, that going through this little framework that this kind of step-by-step process is going to help you enormously, as is the PDF. Have I mentioned there's the PDF? If you're watching and you haven't asked for the PDF yet, put PDF in the comments. So give them. What I mean by this is, give testimonials. Go and write reviews. Go and tell people how wonderful you thought their service was. Kind of like, you know, it's a karmic thing. But also, it gets you in the habit. It gets you in the mood. And if you say to someone, hey, look, would you, here's my testimonial because I really enjoyed, you know, the meal, the service, whatever it was. And if it's one of your clients, you can say, and would you mind writing me one? I've done that before. I've absolutely done that. When I've said, look, here, I'm going to write you a testimonial because, you know, I thought it was a great call or great training, or I really enjoyed your lead magnet, your checklist, or whatever it was. And would you mind writing me a few lines? So be kind of reciprocal, collaborative. Why not? Okay, so when and where do we get to mess? Oh, I can't even speak. Testimonials. When do we get testimonials and where? Anytime we get testimonials, anytime you possibly can. I think it's perfectly okay. So someone asked me this the other day. They said she was restarting her business. She's had a bit of a break, like 3 years. I'm not talking like a month. She'd been away for 3 years and was kind of restarting her coaching business in a slightly different way. And she said, oh, you know, obviously I haven't got any testimonials. And I was like, well, you've had clients in the past, you can get testimonials from them. And she's like, oh, but you know, that's not very up to date, but you're still doing the same work. I mean, obviously, if you were, you know, in the past, you were a, I don't know, dress designer, and you've now moved into, what can I think of? The dog grooming, again, dog grooming, then don't bother going back to ask for testimonials. But if you're more or less doing the same thing and you're still the coach, you're still coaching, then of course you can go back and ask for testimonials. I think that's perfectly okay myself. Do it personally though. Don't do a mass email going, hey, could you drop me a couple of lines about what you think of my service? No, that's not going to cut it. For me, I like the personal touch. So whether you leave a voice note, a messenger, an email, and in fact, do it when you're on a call with someone, right? Immediately, right? That was our session. What do you think? Because you'll get someone's very honest opinion straight away. But do make it a personal touch. Don't make it a sort of generic, hey, if you feel like writing a few lines. And reminds people also of how they've worked with you, because they don't always remember, especially if you're going back a while. You might want to say, hey, do you remember when we did that session on Nail Your Intro? And you said you found it really useful. Would you mind actually putting that in writing for me? Because I'm hoping to help many more women like you nail their intro, and it would be so useful. So make it personal, ask for it anytime, but also ask for it every time. Like I say, get into the habit. Whatever you're doing, training, calls, chatting to people. I mean, just ask people, how do you feel? You know, can you drop me a few lines? So I think I missed a comment there. Let me just have a quick look. A template. Caroline wants a template. And guess what? The PDF is a bit of a template. So actually, it's the PDF, it's the questions that I use to get going with my testimonials. So I think you'll find it really useful, Caroline. I use this in the beginning, and now I just sort of don't even think about it. Okay, so who do we ask for testimonials? And I feel like I need a klaxon. Clients. I know it's a bit facetious and a bit obvious. Now, what if you haven't had any recent clients? What if you're just starting out and you haven't really had a client for your new business? Well, like I say, you can go back to old clients. I think that's perfectly okay. If you really, really haven't ever worked with anybody in this particular thing that you're doing, give them a freebie. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying give away a 12-week program, but if you want, let's talk about coaching. If you want some testimonials about your coaching, about your style, about your approach, about how helpful you were, then say to somebody, hey, can we do a reciprocal thing? I give you an hour of my time and you let me know exactly what you think. And then I'm going to use that in writing to tell people how wonderful I am. Right? Why not? Okay. So what to include? This is the bit that's going to help you know, and definitely, Caroline, I think this is for you. And this is also what's going to be in the PDF. So this is useful, powerful questions to get that really kick-ass testimonial. So we start off now. I want to say one thing here. If you're doing video testimonials, which I highly, highly, highly recommend, I would do it in a sort of interview style, maybe on Zoom with the two of you. And I would start off saying something like, tell me about yourself, tell me about your business, and obviously make sure that the person you're interviewing, your client, gives their name and their business, so you don't just sort of dive straight in and people don't know what's happening. That's a video testimonial. Highly, 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 highly recommend a video testimonial. But if you, what I do with these questions, these are ones that I ask in a call. So for example, I might, after I've worked with someone, go back to them and say, hey, I'd love a testimonial. Have you got time to hop on a call and just have a quick chat about how you found my service? That's when I use these questions. Or I sometimes use them in, oh God, I really can't speak. I use them in an email when I say to someone, which I did just yesterday, I'd love to know, I'd love to have your testimonial about our work together. If you're a bit stuck on what to write, I've left some questions as prompts. Because again, the more you direct people, the easier you make it for them, the more likely they are to do you a testimonial. Okay, so feel, honestly, I know it might feel a bit icky and a bit scary, but if you're asking for someone for a review or a testimonial, make it easy for them. Send them the link. If you've got, you know, you want them to write a review on a specific platform like Google or Facebook, or prompt them with a few questions. And it doesn't have to be all of these questions. You could just ask one of them or a few. Take your pick. Anyway, I would kick off with things like, what was your situation before we started working together? Where were you? What were your, you know, what were the changes you wanted to make? What made you reach out? If you're feeling brave, you can say, what made you want to work with me as opposed to someone else? What were you hoping for? So we're kind of lining up the expectation, the kind of before and after picture, because what we want to illustrate is the transformation that you provide. We want to show that you have made a positive change to somebody else's life, business, work, whatever it is. So these are kind of questions establishing where they were in the beginning, before they came across you, before they started working with you. Oh, I've just remembered I meant to go back and change the color on these slides and the picture. Never mind. So then you get into the kind of meaty bit, the real gold, the nuggets here is the result. What results did you have as a result of working with me? What did you like best? And what was your aha moment? Those two I love, because you always get some really lovely, lovely answers there. And sometimes quite surprising answers as well. What difference has it made? This is really important, because obviously people have invested time and money in you, and we want to know that that's worth the time and money. And this is a corker. Where would you be now if we hadn't have worked together? So people aren't always clear on why they want to work with you. Sometimes it's a gut feeling. Sometimes what happens with my clients a lot, or it certainly used to, is that they come to me for video help, and then it turns out it's not actually videos they need help with. They need help with loads of other things as well, usually around mindset and being visible. So yeah, so they might say, well, I came to you because I was terrified of making videos. And this happened actually. There was a lady, she just got into MLM and wanted to make product videos. But she actually already had a very successful business. Anyway, so she thought we were going to work on videos together, which we did. And she went from, you know, taking 2 hours to make 100 takes of one video to actually making 3 videos in 5 minutes, which is brilliant. But more than that, She actually reconciled with her estranged son. She prioritized her life in a way that was so powerful. She was able to let go of her successful business and let her manager run it a lot more, and her staff relationships improved no end. She spent more time on her horse, which is something she always wanted to do. She found her dream home. Hello. And in our first session, when I asked her, you know, what are your dreams? She was like, I don't know what you mean. What's a dream? So that, my friends, is a totally powerful transformation. She's a great example, but she came to me because she wanted to make videos. There you go. Right, and how do we finish up then? So this again is a corker. Don't leave these questions out, or pick one of these questions, because this will be so helpful for your testimonials. What would you say to someone who's thinking about working with me or taking my program? Is there anything you'd like to share with someone who you know, is thinking about working with me? Would you recommend? And that, if you notice, that last question is the only direct question I've included. So all the others are open-ended questions, meaning, you know, the client can give free answers. I had one client who wrote me an essay, bless her, in French and in English, in case I didn't understand. So French was her language. But this is golden. And the only direct question I've included, a yes or no answer, would you recommend working with me? And that's it, my friends. They are the powerful questions that you can ask. I was just thinking of something while I was chattering away there. Oh, I know what we haven't talked about. Let me have a look at my next slide. Oh, there's a few of my testimonials. Look, so yes, what I haven't gone into very much is where you use them and how you use them. I think that's probably for another training, to be honest. But here is some screenshots, literally screenshots from my laptop, screenshots from my phone of lovely things that people have said as a result of a training, a webinar. There's an email down there. You can easily go in and edit. I've taken somebody's name out there and I've just sort of highlighted the great bit of the feedback. And sprinkle your testimonials liberally all over your social media, all over your, I mean, stick it on the end of an email, why not? Definitely on any kind of sales pages, landing pages, websites, super, I think, powerful on a website. And don't be afraid to let people know how bloody brilliant you are. And you may not believe in yourself, but loads of other people do, and they've benefited from your wisdom, from your skills, from your knowledge, from your service. And let them say wonderful things about you, and let it land if you can. That's a bit more difficult. So I can't emphasize enough how powerful social proof, and particularly client testimonials, are, by video or by text. And I would definitely collect them all so that you know where they are, so you can go and pluck them and say, right, I need some testimonials on this page. Here we are. Here are the relevant testimonials. Right. Okay. Let's see who's still with me. So checking on my. Oh, now I've done something. Okay. So I love this one with Snoopy, by the way. I just had to include him. I thought that was so good. This training today is part of the Magnetic Mastermind, which is my group coaching program. I'm so excited about this. I can't tell you. I've always believed in the power of getting women in a room together. I think it's honestly magical. Women are so kind and supportive and encouraging and understanding, and we all really get the kind of ups and downs of not just family life or personal life, but business, and especially being an entrepreneur. So I've been wanting to do this for such a long time. I've created this group coaching program, and I'm looking for 5 people to start with, because I think that's a gorgeous number. And the Magnetic Mastermind is a very spacious container. So it's 6 months which, you know, will give us plenty of time to get through 3 main components, which is powerful positioning. So today's Rave Reviews or Client Testimonials forms part of that powerful positioning component in the Magnetic Mastermind. But we also talk about messaging and, of course, building that all-important visibility strategy. Right. I want you to have a look at this list. If you're still with me, live or replay, have a good look. I'm going to leave this up here for you to look at. And I want you to feel like this about your business. I think it's so, so important. I think it's really easy to get bogged down, to feel that kind of overwhelm, the procrastination, the dread of running your business. I want to eliminate that. So have a look at these words and tell me which one stands out. Which one would you like to feel about your business? And pop it in the comments if you're feeling brave. So which one of these would you like to feel? Wake up tomorrow and go, bing! That's how I feel about my business. And in the Magnetic Mastermind, we will work together to make sure you feel like that most of the time, more often than not, 9 times out of 10. And on the days when you don't feel like that, we'll be there holding space in this container and letting you know it's going to be okay. We'll get through it. We'll work through whatever it is, and we'll get you back to feeling that word. So please pop the word in the comments below. I would love to know which one of these you would most like to feel in the morning when you wake up and think about going to work in your business. Hey, Betty, nice to see you. Caroline says lots, but empowered. Yes, come on. I love the word empowered. Yes. So I know there's lots of great words in there, but see if you can pick one and pop it in the comments. Okay, my friends, I think that is, let me stop sharing because I know some people find the old screen sharing. There we go, stop share. Stop share, hi. Right, we're back. We're back. Tell me if any of that was helpful. Which bit stood out? Which bit are you going to go and implement? What would you like to see more of, if anything? And thank you so much for being with me today. I've loved doing this training, even though I spent a long time putting slides together, which I hadn't factored into my day, but I did. Yeah, I'm just going to check and see if I've got any questions. No particular questions. That's okay. Just need to give a moment for Facebook to catch up. And I'm going to say goodbye. I'll see you in the comments. Take care, my friends. Go and have a wonderful rest of the week. And go and get those client testimonials right now. You'll thank me for it. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, thank you so much. See, there is a testimonial right there. Really inspiring as ever. Thank you, Caroline. On that note, I'm going to leave you and see you soon.